this is Katie Burns, and you are watching Live Well. I'm a licensed mental health therapist, and I have a local TV show. This is Pursley, and mostly she's behind the camera.
Yeah.
Films a lot of Billy and Albert.
I do all of the local TV shows.
Yeah.
So that's Katie, Albert and Billy, Kim's Kitchen.
That's her mama.
The cooking show. And I edit all of Daryl Gibbs with the Hometown Insight.
Yes. And you just graduated.
I did just graduate. I'm finally done with high school. But everyone's like, are you so glad to be finished? And I'm like, I'm not finished. I got to go back to school in the fall.
College.
Yeah, college. I'm not done.
No. Are we ever really done learning? I'm not sure we should be.
No.
Just I no longer take formal classes. I mean, I have to take continuing ed just for licensure purposes, but I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, and I mean, I think everyone continues to learn throughout their life. But I think the problem for me with school is the test.
Yeah.
Like, I study so hard to pass the test, and sometimes I don't actually learn it. I just learn it well enough to pass the test, and then it's just gone. Because I'm like, I've got another test I've got to study for.
Oh yeah.
So versus if there's something that I like, that I'm really interested in, and I want to learn it, then I do. And like there's so many random things I can tell you everything about.
Yeah. Well, neat. We're filming today at the Farmhouse Chandelier. They were very gracious to allow us to set up in here. Been wanting to film here for a while now because it is such a neat location. They have a lot of great gifts and food. So if you haven't stopped in, you need to be sure and put that on your list.
It's so cute in here too. It's just like walking in a little antique shop. Little shop.
We wanted to wear their clothes today to showcase the cute things that are over there to our right, but just a lot of neat stuff, and it's great. It's great how many people are embracing Pikeville. They're bringing a lot of interesting things to the area. But what we're going to talk about today, maybe a little mix, but we're definitely going to try and stay focused on the topic of healthy habits.
Yep.
And one thing that we just realized that we share that we didn't know about was that you love tea and I love tea.
Tea is for sure a healthy habit.
I think so too. You know, so many clients of mine struggle with their addiction to soda. Diet, regular, any kind of soda, and a lot of the reason is because they don't have any other source of caffeine.
Yeah.
So they're just
especially for someone that doesn't like coffee, like myself.
Right. See, I drink coffee and tea, and that's how I get my caffeine, and I don't drink soda. But for them, they need the caffeine, and the only way they're going to get that is through soda. And so they're saying, like, Katie, I can't give that up.
However, you can get a sufficient amount of caffeine in tea.
You can. And you can put honey in tea, which you guys, you know, if you've seen some of my Instagram or Facebook, you've seen all of my love for Hendon honey. That I put that in my tea. And
everything you put in tea changes the flavor of tea. So like some people put in like the packets of sugar. It makes it sweet, which is its purpose. But if you put honey, the flavor is so much better.
Yeah.
It enhances the tea flavor instead of just making it sweet.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, you know, some honey isn't just plain honey.
Yeah.
Sometimes they add, well, as I've learned from my beekeeper, a lot of other things to make it not really pure, but super sweet. So that's going to definitely change the quality also.
You definitely need the raw honey.
So talk about how you make your tea.
All right. Well, I have, because I don't like coffee, and I'm not actually super big on like sodas and stuff. If I do get one, it's normally like Sprite.
Right.
But so I wanted something to drink that wasn't flavored water. So I started like experimenting with tea, and so I've kind of self-taught myself. And so like I make a bunch of different special blends, and my favorite one is Lady Grey.
Now is that an Earl Grey?
Yeah, it's like a branch off of Earl Grey. Earl Grey is more on the traditional teas, and then Lady Grey is a more like fruity based. So if you're someone who likes like a fruity type, Earl Grey has got more of like a fruity taste, a fruity smell. And I think smell is a big thing with tea too.
Oh, huge. Huge. Well, just the fragrance can can reframe your mind.
Yeah.
Set.
Yeah.
So if you need to sit down and focus, and you're just, oh, the aroma of this is beautiful, or first thing in the morning, and you have.
It's such a good wake me up. And tea doesn't have as much caffeine as coffee, but it's still such a good wake me up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's different kinds of teas, and some don't have caffeine at all in them.
Some of them are naturally decaffeinated, and some of them just don't have caffeine. For if you want your morning pick me up, I would, if you're a very like black coffee drinker, I would suggest Irish breakfast.
Yes.
It's a very strong tea.
Black teas.
And if you're not so like, if you don't like your black coffee, I would suggest you get English breakfast.
Right.
Because it's still dark, but it's not as strong, like that bitter taste.
Yeah. Now, do you put a little lemon in your English breakfast tea? Yeah, I mean, classic guys to do it.
Yeah, you do. And then with the Lady Grey, like I was saying, I like to put milk and vanilla extract, just about a teaspoon of it, and then a little bit of honey to sweeten it up, and it's amazing. A hint for making tea is when you steep your tea, a lot of people put the tea bags in the cup and pour the water on the tea bags. You can't do that. That scorches the tea bags, and it totally changes the flavor. If you will take and put the water in the cup and then dip the tea bags in it, it saves the flavor, and it tastes so much different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so one of the things I recommend when people are saying, you know, I want to snack in the afternoon, or I wanted to get off soda or whatever, I say, okay, you need to first look for a replacement.
Yeah.
So instead of going and getting that snack, go and try to make yourself a cup of tea. And this is if you've had, you know, balanced meals throughout the day, which you should be doing anyway. And if you've had enough at those meals, hopefully you won't need to snack, unless, say, you chased a toddler for 3 miles. You might need a snack. But if you haven't, you know, if you've just been sitting by a desk and you just are starting to feel weary, it may be that you need just a little bit of tea as a perk up for the afternoon.
And I think because there's so many options with tea, you can find, I know some people's like, I don't like tea, and I'm like, well, how many kinds of tea have you tried? They're like, one.
Right.
And I'm like, there's so many different kinds. There is a type of tea that will suit everybody. I like a lot of them, but you can even branch off of the blacker teas and go into herbal teas, in which you have like peppermint and chamomile.
So good. There's peppermint, really good for your throat too.
Yeah, there's one by Twinings that's it's called Nighttime, and it is like chamomile and dandelion and something else, dragon snap or something. And if you will drink that before bed, you will sleep like a baby. Like, it is so nice.
Yeah, just soothing right before you go to bed, because a lot of people have sleep issues.
Yeah,
we should probably talk about the healthy habits of sleeping.
That can be a struggle. I'm not gonna lie, my sleep habits are not always at their best. I like to nap during the day. So I'm like someone, I'll come home from work and then take a good 20-30 minute nap. And so then
you can't.
Sometimes if I'm really tired, I can go to bed, but sometimes I'm just laying there and it's not happening.
Right. Well, I do a nice wind down crash. I've stopped looking at social media, which you guys know I actually do that professionally. So when I get on social media, I mean, a lot of times I can say, well, I'm on there to check my ads or check something that I'm doing.
Do your job.
Do my job. But then, of course, it ends up varying. I mean, it's like a rabbit hole. You're on there and you're like, oh, wait, I didn't see this. And then so there's a kind of a line between my actual job and then just personal interest.
And then it's 2 hours later. You're like, what is this rabbit video?
I'm still sitting here in the bathtub scrolling. But no, I stopped. I was like, I'm not going to allow myself to look at social media. I guess probably I stop at 7 o'clock and put my child down, and then I take a bath and try and like read a book or a magazine or something like that, because I was having nightmares, oddly, out of the blue, and I was like, what is going on? And I'm a big dreamer. I have a very active mind when I sleep, and so I thought, okay, well, I'm going to pray. I'm going to ask God to protect my mind while I'm sleeping, because this is very disturbing, and that wasn't really helping. And so I thought, okay, I need to try and do some other things. So I stopped looking at social media. And I mean, I'm not saying that social media causes nightmares by any means, but maybe
for some people, I've known some people that like they actually cannot look at their cell phones or watch TV and stuff about an hour before they go to bed, or they have bad dreams, or they don't sleep, or they get headaches when they wake up in the morning.
Right. It could have just been too much stimulation from our brain at that hour. It just made it start clicking again.
Yeah. I like, for me, if I read a book, I cannot go to sleep. Some people, that makes them tired and that helps them sleep, but it gets my mind going, and I like start thinking about stuff, and then I get like, I'm not worked up, but my brain
you're into it.
Yeah, my brain is working so fast that I don't get tired. So I try to about 30 minutes at least before I go to bed, I like to just listen to some like really slow music.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, just something relaxing, and like sometimes I'll look through just like picture magazines, because we get these magazines that you don't read. They're just like pictures. I look through those, or I'll like write in a journal, make notes like of what happened through the day.
That's an extremely healthy habit.
Yeah.
All therapists want their clients to journal.
I'm not a very faithful journaler. It has to come in the moment. Or like I write.
Yeah.
Like I write comedy skits and stuff for people. So sometimes I'll do that. But yeah, listening to music, relaxing music, definitely helps. Yeah.
And I think any kind of professional is going to tell you to turn off the media, lower the lights, to kind of wind down and make a routine out of going to bed so that your body gets on a habit. I also think a nice smelling lotion before you go to bed with maybe some lavender in it. And also I think you need to love your bed. I think you need to have some nice sheets, whatever you like. I mean, it doesn't matter how expensive they are. It's just, do you like the feel of your sheets and your bed?
That's super important. I cannot sleep in an uncomfortable bed.
No.
I can't.
No. And then my husband was listening to some podcast talking about the temperature that your body needs to be for optimal sleep.
Yeah.
That your head needs to be a certain level of coolness to have the best sleep. So if it's too hot in your house, you may need to add a box fan or something. Or
I
the
love
temperature down.
I love sleeping with a box fan. It's a habit in our house.
So many people are.
Yeah.
They love fans. I turn on an above fan.
But that doesn't make the noise. See, I don't.
You want the noise.
Yeah, I don't listen to the box fan for the cooling air. I just want the noise from the box fan. That constant sound in the background. Yeah.
Yeah.
They make most fans now without the sound. Like, you can't just go buy a fan and it's got the sound, and that is so annoying, because that's the only reason I want a fan. It's
strange.
For the sound.
Yeah.
A lot of them don't even have blades. They took out the blades. It's just like a circle that produces air.
I need to go see the new fan system. I mean, poor Hallie and Stanley Wells, who we were going to film with today, maybe they need upgraded box fans.
They need just circles with no blades.
Circles, yeah. Like safety regulations.
Yeah, those are safety regulations.
Okay, sleep habits, teas, we're going to have to get into, which I actually proposed this question this week to my Instagram followers, asking them, how do you define food? And if we're talking about healthy habits, if you have an unhealthy definition of food, this may be an unhealthy place for you.
Yeah, I think food is something like, I've got to the point where I don't go for fast food unless it's like really like an upscale fast food restaurant.
Yeah.
Because it's just so awful. And now that I've done that, if I do just so happen to eat something, I get so sick.
Yeah.
And I just feel awful. But I've got to the point where I just like home cooked meals.
Oh yeah.
If we're not going to like a restaurant where I know they cook it in the back before they bring it out, like I don't want to go.
Well, you've also had some medical issues.
Yeah, I have, and that's really what started the my thing, because I had my thyroid was almost completely shut down. It was started being stress induced, and I went to multiple doctors. I was losing weight. I had gotten down to like 80 pounds. My hair was falling out, and I could literally just go like this.
What year was this?
It was in the spring of 2016. Yeah. So I could literally just like reach up and grab my hair and just drop a handful.
That is incredibly scary.
Yeah, and I went to several doctors, thyroid specialists, and they would take my blood and do all that, and everything came back normal. They was like, oh, you're fine. We don't know what it is. Go to another specialist. So finally, I went to one doctor, and she is a naturopathic doctor. And she didn't tell us at the time when
Is this who your mom had on the show? Okay, what's her name again?
Becky Plotner.
Okay.
Yeah, Becky Plotner. She's a wonderful doctor. She's my doctor.
Yeah.
She went, and she didn't tell me when we first went, but when we went back about 2 months later, she was like, when you first came, I was like, it was bad. She's like, I didn't want to freak you out and tell you how awful it was, like, because your thyroid was dead. She was like, it was bad. But she got me started on iodine, 2% solution. You just take like a little drop and drink it, and then each day you add a drop, and you slowly build up and build up, and that helped. But I also went on a special diet. I could have no sugar unless it was like natural sugar, like what was in fruits and stuff, but no artificial sugar, no carbs.
Okay.
I was mainly on meat and vegetables.
Okay.
And so I did that for 6 months. And having no carbs, I gained weight. I went back up to my 99, 100 pound self.
That's funny.
And yeah, and so ever since then I started like slowly advancing back into a normal diet, adding in the carbs, the pasta. I love pasta. Pasta was the hardest thing to not eat. I started adding back in, and even when I would add certain things back in, it would make me feel bad, and so I still don't eat those things. But pasta is not one of those things.
I
love
have a therapy session.
I love pasta. But and so now that I have a normal diet. I'm still on the iodine, and I will be for the rest of my life. And I've not had any more big health scares. But after being on that, and then going back into like the restaurant chains, the fast food things, was so difficult because so much of the food isn't real, and you can just tell. For a lot of people that haven't ever winged themselves off of it, they don't even they don't notice because it's what they're like accustomed to. But when you only eat like certain food and then you go back in, you're like, this is not how this is supposed to taste. Where did this come from? I question everything.
Yeah. But you had an issue, and I think that's what's really important for people at home to hear is this wasn't, some sort of random decision.
No. She said that the doctor told me that had I not received treatment when I did, had I not done what I done, she said my thyroid would have shut off, other things would have started shutting down, my body would have started shutting down on itself. Slowly, it was like the domino effect. And that's why we think I've always had thyroid issues, like very small, because because it affects your growth hormones, and my hands and my feet are not proportional with my body. Like they're they're tiny.
They're tiny,
and that's as big as they're gonna get.
This is me over there.
And so, but I had a lot of stress that year with school. There was I had an issue with bullying in a program that I was in, and so it induced a lot of stress on me. And we believe that that's why it started being so bad and why it became so prominent. It just started shutting down because it was something that could go. I slept all the time because I had no energy. Like literally, if this was me then, by the time we get done with this interview in a couple minutes, I would be like done. I want to go in my car and take a nap.
You just didn't have anything else to give.
Everything I did was so hard. Like I literally would lay in bed all day and do nothing, and that felt good. But when I would get up and walk to the mailbox and walk back, I was
that was exhausting.
I need to go to sleep.
Wow.
So
that was a really hard season. To be in.
It lasted for some. And that's when I started my job at the telephone office. And so that lasted all that summer. I didn't really start getting better until that fall, like being able to see a difference. And I don't really have any problems now, but my weight still teeter-totters depending on how I eat. But other than that, I'm fairly good. But that was a really hard season, and it was super scary because I had just turned 16 at the time, and then I was told your thyroid's shutting down, and this is a big deal. and the bullying like was still going on, and I was still having to deal with that separately along with my health issues that I didn't know I had.
Yeah.
And so, I think I was really depressed.
Yeah.
Because of the bullying. Like, I didn't have any like friends because I had shut myself off.
Right, and you were homeschooling.
Yeah, and I mean, I had friends the year before, but when all the bullying happened, it was a girl, and she was like Little Miss Perfect, and so everyone like loved her, and so I never shared any of my like feelings with anybody because I always felt like other people would take her side because everyone just loved her so much. So I always felt like,
very common. It's very true.
Yeah, I always felt like I didn't like want to burden people with my problem when they're just gonna take her side anyway. So I never told anyone, and I still have like repercussions from that because I would go into this thing every week and like put on a smile and I'm fine and everything's fine. And sometimes like it got to the point where I couldn't even tell if I was upset. And I still can't sometimes. Like, I've gotten so good at hiding that I'm okay.
Right.
That sometimes even now when I'm not, I don't even know. I
don't even know how to express it correctly.
Yeah, I'll just start like bursting out into tears, and I'm like, what is wrong with me?
Well, yeah. I mean, that can, someone that's incredibly manipulative and is seeking to damage you is typically very skilled.
Yeah.
But what do you think was the one thing that helped you get out of that? I would like to call it maybe like a tornado.
It was.
You kind of got wrapped in it, and then you don't even know how to get out.
Yeah, and there was no way for me to get out. And I think what helped was people, because in that time, I lost my faith because if God loved me so much, like why would He let this happen to me? Like why was it so awful on me? And I didn't really have a good like church family to reach out to either at the time. And I wasn't as close to my parents as I am now at the time. So like I felt very isolated. And my only sibling is like 5 years younger. So I felt very isolated. And so I think what helped me was every so often, like one person in this group would suppress like very serious concern for me. And I never told them that anything was wrong. But just the fact that one or two people would be kind and show like, hey, I care about you as a person. That. And like there was 3 guys in drama that year. And they was very, very like almost older brotherly to the point where if they was ever around when she was and she ever said like one of her digs or did something, they would always counteract it.
Really?
Because I wouldn't. Not because like I couldn't stand up for myself, because I could, but I wouldn't because I knew that would just fuel her fire.
Fuel the fire.
I always my approach to it was like kindness. My approach to it was kindness. Like I knew if I stood my ground and I never did anything that she did back, then she could never come back and say anything, well, Allie did such and such to me. Which, I mean, she did say that I did things, but everything she said wasn't true.
Yeah.
She could never come back and say something, well, Allie did this, and like it was the truth.
Right.
And so ultimately, I feel like she just got bored and moved on because I would never fight back. And so those 3 guys that would always stand up for me if they was there, or the 1 or 2 people that would walk up to me and be like, "Hey, are you sure you're good?" Or like, "Do you want to hang out this weekend?" And I wouldn't, but you wanted,
right?
Yeah, and that meant the world to me. I think that's what helped more than anything, just personally. Since then, and also with my health was going downhill and I didn't know it. Yeah. So I just like physically felt bad. Right. And then I was like in emotional turmoil every time we would do this. And so towards the end of the year, like we have what's called Tech Week, where we have to every day, you're there all day. Yeah. And so that was awful. It was the worst. I still didn't know I had health issues. Right. My hair was falling out and I was losing weight and I couldn't eat. Like I hardly ate anything because I would throw it back up because I was so like skittish. So on the edge. Yeah, of what was gonna happen. Right. And I had like night terrors, like I would wake up and like couldn't breathe, like crying. So after that was over. Yeah. And then we kind of moved into the summer months. And I found out that I had the thyroid issue, and I started treating that. And then physically, I started feeling better.
Yeah.
They just made it easier for my emotional to get better.
Regulate.
Yeah.
Because when you're not healthy and you don't have
Yeah.
the right things going on physically, you definitely can't be there mentally.
Yeah. And so since then, I have I've gotten a lot closer with my parents, especially my mom.
Yeah.
And I've made really good friends.
Yeah.
That I think if anyone was to say some of those things now, I think that they would go down. Because it was just my second year of high school. And so I've done the same group every year.
Okay.
And so I didn't really have good friends at that point.
So do you still encounter this girl?
Yeah, I just graduated with her.
Wow.
She had a life-size cutout of herself.
Special.
That is so extra. So extra. Yeah. And
I mean, that's just right there. You got to know that,
Yeah.
you know, someone has some self-esteem issues.
for sure. She would show up to, we had practices, and like, nobody cared how you looked at practice. I mean, I showed up with my makeup and hair because I'm pretty sure my mom would freak out if I didn't have my hair and makeup done.
We're in the South.
But she would show up with like perfect makeup and her hair salon done and like her winged eyeliner. You don't wear winged eyeliner everywhere you go.
I mean, some people are doing that though these days.
Yeah, it's just,
I'm not gonna do it unless I'm doing like stage makeup. Like today,
Exactly.
I call this stage makeup when I'm wearing.
Yeah.
Or photography, like if I'm getting my picture made.
that's normal.
I'm
Wearing
gonna
it
wear this
on a day-to-day basis, sleeping in it, that's
Well,
not
you shouldn't do that anyway for your skin, ladies. Do not go to bed with your makeup on.
No.
There's another health tip.
Yeah.
We should look a product day. Anyway, but yeah, taking care of yourself physically, eating the right foods, getting the right sleep, because you got to be ready for this battle. Just like you encountered this girl, and you didn't have the right, you know, team around you. You were kind of isolated when you went in, which made you a good target, honestly. For this attack, and then it, you know, waffled your faith, and because you're young in it, you know, you were a young person then. And that's why we think this is an important topic.